We switch to the main track for the third of 5 graded stakes races Saturday at Santa Anita. It's race number 6. It's the Grade 2 Santa Anita Sprint Championship. 6 furlongs on dirt. Favorites won this race 3 of the last 4 years. 3-year-olds won this race 2 of the last 3 years. And in fact, there have been 3 3-year-olds in the last 10 years that won this race. Dr. Scheivel last year, Omaha Beach in 2019, and Smiling Tiger in 2010. Why am I bringing all this historical stuff up? Here's why. The favorite this year in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship is a 3-year-old, and he's coming in off a layoff just like Omaha Beach did in 2019, and coincidentally or not, also trained by Richard Mandella. Okay, as far as the significance regarding the Breeders' Cup, the 2 grass races we talked about earlier, the John Henry and the City of Hope Mile, I would be surprised if either of those races really influenced the Breeders' Cup Turf or the Breeders' Cup Mile. But as far as the Santa Anita Sprint Championship, now look, I know there's no Jackie's Warrior in this field, but who knows how good Forbidden Kingdom might be 6 months down the line since his most recent start. And the Santa Anita Sprint Championship has been relatively productive in terms of Breeders' Cup Sprint success. The last 10 years, 8 Santa Anita Sprint Championship winners contested the Breeders' Cup Sprint, 3 wins and 2 seconds. Roy H., he won the Santa Anita Sprint Championship twice. He won the Breeders' Cup Sprint twice. Amazombie back in 2011, he won the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. He won the Breeders' Cup Sprint as well. So my point is, this race, this autumn race at Santa Anita, has had some historical relevance to the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Let's take a look and see who's running this year in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. It's a field of 7, and boy, does Forbidden Kingdom have his work cut out. Forbidden Kingdom is a speed horse. So are Kid Corleone and Toto, Fino, and probably to a little bit lesser degree, Super Ocho. And from post number 2, Forbidden Kingdom is going to have to hustle. That's his style. He hustles anyway. And he's a good horse. And he certainly was a good horse earlier this year, Forbidden Kingdom. In fact, he was briefly considered a Kentucky Derby candidate, even though trainer Richard Mandella knew in his gut all along that Forbidden Kingdom, what he really wants to do is sprint. And we're going to take a look at his most recent sprint right now. It was back in January in the Grade 2 San Vicente, and Forbidden Kingdom shot out of the gate, going 7 furlongs, 21-4, 44-1, and he was gone. He just kept right on running. Wire to wire with a 94 Beyer speed figure. He followed up the San Vicente, this front-running sprint win, with a demonstrative victory in the Grade 2 San Felipe, going 1 mile and 1/16. And from there you go, well, he does not have any distance limitations whatsoever. Bettors hammered Forbidden Kingdom down to even money in early April in the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. And from there, everything went wrong. He finished last, Forbidden Kingdom. It turns out he had an excuse. He had an ulcer in his throat that did not require any surgery, just antibiotics and flushing. And Mandella was going to get him ready for a summer campaign. In early summer, he colicked, and it was serious enough that Mandella shipped Forbidden Kingdom to the Chino Valley Equine Medical Center just in case things went really, really bad and Forbidden Kingdom would require surgery. It turns out he did not require surgery, just plenty of fluid, the good treatment from the experts at the Chino Valley Equine Medical Center, and Forbidden Kingdom was only there for about 3 days, came back to the barn at Mandella's barn at Santa Anita, and then Mandella got him going again. And everything was going along really well until September 17th, when Forbidden Kingdom broke off behind a workmate in a team workout. And this workout is available on XBTV. And if you want to take a look at a bad workout, go ahead and do it, because Forbidden Kingdom was not impressive at all. He worked 14-2. The track was tiring and deep, and Forbidden Kingdom looked visually horrible. Guess what? He had an excuse. He bruised a foot in that workout. Mandella took the pressure off. I suspect he pulled the shoes off. I'm not sure about that. but took the pressure off. And Forbidden Kingdom came right back around. And in his very next workout, he went a bullet in 112, a fast workout over a track that had sped up noticeably from the week before. And it was a dynamite workout that Mandela gave a huge thumbs up to. Wednesday morning, he came back and worked again, 3 furlongs, a blowout right on top of the race. Mandela does that often with comebackers to sharp, with any horse sometimes, to kind of sharpen their speed, get their mind on business. And Forbidden Kingdom goes into the Santa Anita Sprint Championship without an excuse as far as condition. He already has a built-in excuse related to the pace scenario because there are fast horses to his outside. And we're going to take a look at 2 of them right now, including Toto Fino on September 3rd at Del Mar. Toto Fino, this is an entry-level allowance, a one other than allowance. He's on his wrong lead. He's going to switch leads right about here. Toto Fino, isn't he? I think so. And he's going to be long gone. There he goes. Switches leads, and Toto Fino is long gone. This was after going 21-4, 44-1 at 7 furlongs. What's interesting about this race, a couple things. Toto Fino was a 9-time winner, eligible to the first allowance condition, and the reason for that, he had been campaigning in South America where the purses are so low, they do not count against the allowance eligibility conditions in North America, in which races in which you earn less than $10,000 don't count, at least in Southern California. Okay, Toto Fino is speed. There's another horse in here who also has speed, and we're going to take a look at him as well. He's Kid Corleone, and this is July 22nd to Del Mar. He went fast on the front end, Kid Corleone did. 21-3, 44-1. They're going 6.5 furlongs. He never did switch leads, but it didn't matter because he was long gone. He won by more than 3 lengths with a 98 Beyer speed figure. And what's significant about that number is that 98 Beyer, that matches the highest speed figure earned by Forbidden Kingdom. Now, Kid Corleone came back and he disappointed in his very next start. He might have bounced off that big comeback win, but they spent $4,000 to supplement Kid Corleone to the Grade 2 Santa Anita Sprint Championship on Saturday. He wasn't originally nominated. They spent $4,000 to make him eligible at entry time. Same thing with number 3, Howbeit, a late supplement for $4,000. In the case of Toto Fino and Kid Corleone, they both have speed. They're both drawn outside Forbidden Kingdom, and Forbidden Kingdom is going to be under pressure, potentially under pressure every step of the way. Now, if the pace unravels up front, who does it benefit? It benefits the oldest, most accomplished horse in the field, and that's the same horse that won this very race 2 years ago at the relatively young age of 6. I'm referring to number 1, CZ Rocket. Let's go back in time and take a look at the Santa Anita Sprint Championship 2020, and CZ Rocket outside, I think that's Flagstaff to his inside, and CZ Rocket, he was 6 years old, he was in peak form, and he scored a victory in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. He rallied from slightly off the pace. Now, here's the thing about CZ Rocket. He's now 8 years old. He doesn't have the speed he once did, but he still wants to beat you. And because he's probably going to drop out early, that running style could work in his favor. Let the speed go and come and try to catch them. And that's exactly what he did on July 23rd of this year at Del Mar in an allowance race. And let's take a look at CZ Rocket and what happens when the pace unravels up front and he loops the field and wins going away with a 92 Beyer speed figure. Not a great number, but he did lose significant ground through the turn. And if you use Thorograph along with Beyer speed figures like I do, you would say that, well, he ran a pretty doggone good race, 2 3/4 on Thorograph. The running style of CZ Rocket suits the potential race shape. They could go fast early up on the front end. Forbidden Kingdom, Toto Fino, Kid Corleone, and if they do, CZ Rocket could become the oldest horse to win the Grade 2 Santa Anita Sprint Championship. This race was once called the Ancient Title. I like the Ancient Title name a little bit better than Santa Anita Sprint Championship. But at any rate, CZ Rocket will be running late. Can an 8-year-old win this race? He would be the first ever, CZ Rocket. I still like Forbidden Kingdom, but if you're playing multi-race exotic wagers, I think you got to go deep in here. Unless you think that Forbidden Kingdom can shake off his pace rivals and go gate to wire, which is the most likely outcome. But if his odds are short, I would not be at all against using CZ Rocket and others in this race. Forbidden Kingdom, can he race gate to wire Saturday? We're going to find out. Forbidden Kingdom, wire to wire, race 6 Saturday at Santa Anita.